Welcome to the Wyoming Women's Business Center's 2022 Business Education Webinar Series. Today's presentation is 15 offline marketing ideas for your small business. My name is Jessica Brower, if we haven't met before, and I'm the Marketing Director here at the Wyoming Women's Business Center, and I'll be your speaker today. Before we get started, I want to go ahead and point out the Zoom control panel, likely on the bottom of your screen. I want to call attention to both the questions and the chat function. Throughout this presentation, if you have any comments or questions during the webinar, I'd like you to use those to communicate. So the Q&A section will be best to ask me questions. We'll get to those after the presentation. Or if you want to use the chat to introduce yourself, you'll see that some of the folks who are joining us today have already started that. So if you haven't yet, feel free to introduce yourself in that chat. I'd love to know where you're joining us from and what line of business you're working in. This webinar is being recorded, and a link to access the recording via Zoom will be sent out to all registrants shortly after the live event today. Please feel free to share that link with your peers, your team, or your friends who you think would enjoy today's content. If you're watching this webinar live, a survey will launch shortly after we close the presentation. If you could, please complete this. It provides us and our funding partners with really valuable information, and we do read all of those. And just as a reminder, all participants are muted to minimize any background noise. So again, if you have any questions or comments during the presentation, go ahead and type them in the chat box or questions panel. So you can see here, we're going to go over a little bit of information about the WWBC. We'll talk about some guidelines to offline marketing. And then we'll get into the 15 offline marketing ideas for your small business and wrap it up with answering your questions. So let's go over some quick information about the WWBC in case you aren't familiar with us already. I'd like to start by introducing you to us. We're a nonprofit organization, and our mission is to enable and empower Wyoming entrepreneurs with a special emphasis on women. And we do that through 3 distinct programs. The first is our business counseling and training program, which is always free. The second is our microloan program, which offers loans from $500 to $50,000 for businesses that have been denied from a traditional lending source. And third is the Artist Development Center that we run in conjunction with our Works of Wyoming store, which is located here in Laramie, but also online. And what I really want to get across to you is that we specialize in what we call micro enterprises. So what is that? It's a small business that has less than 6 employees, and the majority are 1 or 2 person businesses, probably like many of you. And these businesses were able to launch for under $35,000. So businesses like yoga studios or hairstylists, in-home daycare providers, marketing consultants, cleaning services, all of these are really great examples of the clients we serve. So if you're not already a client of the WWBC and you'd like to be, it's quick and easy. You can sign up by going to wyomingwomen.org and clicking on the Sign Up Now button at the top of the page. Or if you'd rather contact us, you'll find some contact information at the end of this presentation, which you're more than welcome to jot down. So with that, I'm going to launch a quick poll just to feel out this virtual room that we're sharing here this afternoon. So that poll should have launched on your screen. So go ahead and take just a moment to answer. What it's asking you is, where are you currently marketing your business? So maybe there's a handful of these that you're already using. So go ahead and just check all the ones that apply. Give you just a few more moments. All right, I'm going to go ahead and end that poll. We'll share these results. So this doesn't surprise me. We have a good mix of things. I'm not shocked that many of you don't have billboards. It takes pretty deep pocketbooks to do that. But I see that 35% of you are not currently marketing your business. So I'm really glad that you're here. Welcome. Get this out of the way. All right. So one of the most common requests I've received in those post-webinar surveys that I mentioned is a request for marketing that isn't online. So how can I market my business outside of social media or email marketing or websites or review databases and all of these platforms that require me to, one, learn another online platform, and two, devote the time to my screen in my already busy schedule? And I get it. It's not a thing that a lot of us want to do. So the good news is we're here today to chat about these 15 offline marketing ideas that don't require you to be online. The other news, I'm not going to call it bad per se, is that cross-promoting these offline marketing initiatives on your online channels is a really great way to build robust marketing campaigns with longer legs that are going to reach to multiple pockets of your community, both digitally and in person. The best and most dynamic marketing strategies are going to use all of your resources, both online and offline. That said, in small towns, which all of us in Wyoming are doing business within, relationships with our neighbors are key. And relationships strongly benefit from really thoughtful engagement off the internet. So before we dive into these 15 ideas, I'm going to share some quick rules to offline marketing. If you've joined me before in any of these marketing webinars, you've heard me preach the same processes and rules for marketing, regardless of what channels we're using. And today is no different. It's going to be really important for you to know your unique value as a business, and also to know your audience and to know what is the most effective way to communicate with them. But on top of that, here are 3 further tips from a Forbes online article called Essential Small Business Offline Marketing Strategies. 1 is to maintain brand consistency across all of your marketing channels. So if your website is formal and professional in its tone and layout, when you post flyers or buy a billboard with a whimsical cartoon character, that doesn't fit. Number 2, use every chance to spread the word. It never hurts to leave your business card, a flyer, any branded merchandise, wherever you happen to be. Offline advertising is a good way to complement your online strategies and make them more effective. No matter how much time people spend online, they still need to function in the real world. And last, number 3, always seek to connect different marketing platforms. So remember, your customers lead a seamless life today, often switching between the online and offline worlds. They also use multiple devices. So take advantage of this by cross-promoting as much as possible. So with that, let's get into it. Number 1, networking and speaking events. Participating in local gatherings is a really great way to not only get the word out about your business, but also to connect to like-minded entrepreneurs or leaders within your community. The benefits of carving this time out in your schedule for networking are undeniable. And oftentimes, once you've connected to these events and the people hosting these events, you'll find opportunities to also host a local group or lead a discussion or maybe present at a local conference or event in your community. So some places to look to get started are community calendars for your local Chamber of Commerce. Here on the screen, you can see Cheyenne screenshotted. Most chambers host monthly gatherings of their members, as well as events in the community that are open to the public. Here in Laramie, those are called business after hours, and they're a great place to catch up with local businesses and leadership. And I'm willing to bet that regardless of what community you're in, your chamber is hosting something similar. Another great place to look is with any local merchant association, a Main Street or downtown development authority, or any neighborhood group. You can see a graphic for a coffee meeting hosted by Downtown Rock Springs on the screen. They host these at a local coffee shop, which is also a really great opportunity for that business to show off what they're offering and harness that in-person marketing experience. Number 2, participate in local events in your community. So this is a little bit different, but kind of similar. In this instance, your business is opting into an event that's hosted collaboratively by businesses or a local organization for businesses versus for individuals. So the example on the slide is what's called a Crazy Hats, Crazy Days sale hosted by Downtown Sheridan Association. At this event, participating businesses were asked to offer a sidewalk sale or a special promotion. Maybe you've heard of these crazy days sales. They happen in many communities. The power of collaboration can be quite robust in these kinds of events. So just put yourself in the shoes of a shopper for a second. You know that this event is happening in your community on a certain day. So you save the shopping that you have to do and you make an afternoon of it. Maybe a new store has opened and you haven't had a reason to go into it yet. This community-wide event could be just the thing that gets you to walk by and see what this business is all about. And just like that, you're familiar with a new business, which you can share with your friends and family. And we all know, especially in our small towns, that word of mouth is holy grail marketing. I'm sure you've also seen events like these through the holiday season in your community. So things like Small Business Saturday, Cyber Monday, we just got out of this season, but maybe also events around holidays or local events like Cheyenne Frontier Days or your local parade day. Here in Laramie, we see it for our Jubilee Days. Browse local calendars or ask the businesses in your community what they've enjoyed participating in. And if you're coming up short, maybe you could even host your own. Which brings me to number 3, host your own events and workshops. Another great way to reach a new pocket of your ideal audience is to host an event that speaks to them. This is where the foundations of marketing, those ones we talked about earlier, are really important. You need to know who is your audience. What do they like to do? What are their needs? Now, how can you host an event or a workshop that speaks to that? So there's 2 examples on the screen, and they're quite different from one another, but they both were clearly made with intention. The one towards the top of the screen is for Bond's Brewing Company, which is a local brewery here in Laramie. The other is a camera workshop hosted by Red White Buffalo, which is a store in Green River that supports local artists and creatives. They did this in partnership with a photographer. So the brewery's audience is looking for things to do in the evenings. Because I'm a local in Laramie and I've been paying attention to them, I also know that they've positioned themselves as family friendly as well, which many of their events speak to. Red White Buffalo, on the other hand, knows that they're connecting with creatives who are likely learning to grow a skill set, whether that's in photography as their art or photography as a tool to capture their work to market and sell. It wouldn't make any sense for Red White Buffalo to host a family-friendly bingo night and serve beers, just like it wouldn't make sense for Bonds to host a photographer to teach a workshop for artist development. Next up is physical marketing materials, posters, flyers, print signage. So by this, I mean marketing that you can hold physically in your hand. Like I said, posters, flyers, business cards, brochures, save the date cards, takeaway menus, anything that you print to capture your ideal audience. So even in our incredibly digital age, the coffee shop poster still can make a heavy lift. Thoughtfully designing something to highlight your upcoming sale, a new product, or a service offering, and taking it to your local community cork boards is well worth the time, in my opinion. Typically, you can find a place to hang posters in local coffee shops, like I said, as well as churches, community centers, local organizations like your Chamber of Commerce or Main Streets, or maybe just start keeping an eye open and seeing what's around. Additionally, physical marketing materials can be helpful to alert your customers of an upcoming event. Maybe you host a Christmas in July blowout sale and you want to make sure your regular customers remember to stop by. Printing small branded save the date cards and including them with your customers' purchases could be a great option. Or maybe you're a salon owner and you create a takeaway menu for your customers to take with them after their service. Now they have a physical reminder of all the other services that they could get from your business in addition to that monthly hair trim. As always, think about your audience, think about their needs, and think about how can you create a physical reminder of how you can meet it. Number 5, personal notes. We all know that a handwritten note or a personal message feels especially nice. So consider reaching out to your customers or clients to let them know that you appreciate their support. No sales pitch or call to action this time. And this may be one of the only times you'll hear me say that. Some great times to consider reaching out with a handwritten note or even just a personalized email message that's clearly written to the recipient are around the holidays, maybe around the anniversary of their time in partnership with your business. So this is a great option. The first thing that comes to mind is things like gyms or fitness studios, where a lot of time this is tracked. Maybe you do it at a time when you know they're experiencing a rough time, a loss in the family, or a sudden life change. Or maybe you do it on the anniversary of your business or an especially important day for the work that you're doing. Or maybe you just send them a note just because. Of course, you can't write a note to every customer you've ever served, and I know this, but certainly there are individuals or partnerships that have been especially important or valuable to you and your endeavors. Just take some time to extend them some gratitude. I promise you, Amazon or Walmart will never do that, and that's your superpower. Print publications and traditional marketing channels. So traditional marketing channels are likely those that you're pretty familiar with. Print ads in a local newspaper or a magazine, an ad printed on a menu at a restaurant or a table tent in the middle of the table, radio advertisements, television advertisements, those billboards. This is no different than any other marketing channel I've mentioned so far. So step one is to consider your audience and where they're at. And I think this is especially important when it comes to these traditional marketing channels. If you're selling a trendy good to a Gen Z audience, the local newspaper isn't a great fit. If you're advertising your services that are created for retirees, maybe it is. So the next step is to evaluate your budget and determine how much you have to spend. From here, you can reach out to your local advertising representatives. So the really great thing about traditional marketing is that there are plenty of people out there who are trying to do it for you for a cost, of course. So it will be easy to find somebody to chat with and to pick where you'd like to be, to learn a bit about what they can sell you. As with anything, evaluate how it performs and adjust your sales for the next ad. A great way to determine where to advertise is maybe to chat with your current customers. Ask how they found you, or where they engage with ads, or what they find compelling. You may be surprised what you hear and come up with a good idea to experiment with. Maybe you've heard that direct mail is a thing of the Stone Age. Marketing is a funny thing, maybe much like the fashion trends that you've seen popping up that look achingly familiar to years past. So I'm going to read an excerpt from a Forbes article because I think it explains this the best. As our digital footprint hits overdrive and Zoom fatigue kicks in, Americans are craving experiences outside of their computer screens. Email inboxes are overflowing, and people are growing numb to online ads. Direct mail marketing continues to deliver a personal and tangible alternative for customers suffering from screen overload, which will be more important than ever as the country slowly returns to normal. So with this in mind, maybe you consider a mailing to your local neighborhood, highlighting a new product, an expanded service, or an update or a deal from your business. Similar to traditional marketing, you can look to your local print shop for support in these campaigns. They can often help provide you with the details you need to move forward with a campaign that fits your budget and your needs. Number 8, donations and sponsorships. These are a great way to get the name out about your business while also lending a hand to support an organization that aligns with your brand values. Nonprofits are always looking for sponsors of events, campaigns, programming, so reach out to your favorite and see how you can partner. So here are a couple examples. A local Bath and Body Works donated soaps and body care products to Albany County Safe Project, which is a local organization that advocates for victims of domestic violence and sexual assault. They were donated to gift to the clients of SAFE. So not only will SAFE Project, the staff, the board, the people behind it, remember Bath and Body Works as a generous partner in the community, the clients will remember them too. The other image is of the Human Being, which is a coffee shop here, in collaboration with the United Way of Albany County's Day of Caring. They partnered with local businesses to deliver treats and coffee to members of the United Way in Laramie. Once again, this leaves an impact. In these instances, it's important to remember that even small gestures can be impactful. To be delivered a warm coffee as a token of appreciation for the work I do in a nonprofit would be incredibly heartwarming. I'd remember that, and it very well could influence where I buy my next Americano. Number 9, paper coupons, punch cards, and free passes. These are pretty self-explanatory. Depending on what kind of business you're in, maybe you can create something that a customer or a potential customer keeps in their wallet or stumbles into and is reminded of you. Here you'll see free class passes for a local yoga studio, which are passed out at local events, gifted to teachers to pass out to their yoga curious friends, and pinned on local corkboards for folks to find at random within the community. Below that is a punch pass for Cowboy Crepes and Cafe in Rock Springs that lets customers get their 10th crepe for free. So think about your business and any potential barrier to entry. How can you speak to that with these tools? In the case of the yoga studio, folks could be nervous to try something new. Taking a free class takes the monetary investment out of it and nudges folks to give it a try, and maybe then they become a paying customer. 10, cross-promote and collaborate. Look to your neighbors, the businesses you love in your community, or businesses who offer parallel services to you. How can you work together in a way that supports you both? On the screen, you'll see a local outdoor store that partnered with a local brewery to create their own signature beer. The brewery gets to sell the beer, and the store gets their name attached to every one of those beer cells, which draws attention to their brand and creates curiosity for who they are in the community. Secondly, a local coffee roaster partnered with a local knitting store to create a custom roast. On top of that, the knitting store created gift packages with additional products from a local lotion maker and the chocolate shop that just happens to be a couple doors down from them. In one fell swoop, 3 local businesses are highlighted and customers are given a quick and easy gift for someone they love while maybe meeting a new business. 11, freebies. Who doesn't love free stuff? If you have the means, give something away. So before you panic, this doesn't have to be a huge investment. How can you use your current situation to help spread the word? In this example, a local florist is giving away free eucalyptus. They just set it out on the sidewalk and said, first come, first serve. Perhaps they ordered more than they needed, and instead of letting it expire in their care, they spread the word and got it to a good home. When I had my bakery years ago, I would take the treats that I didn't sell at the end of the day, and we'd send them to local businesses with a business card in a cute little box. I could have tossed these in the trash or been tempted to take them home the end of the day, but instead I ate the cost of the packaging and I spread the word about what we were doing. This was a really great way to gain new customers and just to let folks in my downtown district know that I was there. So if the moment presents itself, how can you pass along something to your customers or your community for free? 12, creative packaging. On the right, you'll see Art of Soil, which is a company that makes watercolor paints from soil. You can see on top those wooden pallets, which are incredibly unique and very memorable. The screen grab below shows the shipping packaging, which was crafted with equal thought. It's a little tough to tell because this is a screen grab from a video, but the cards are branded in the company's fonts and style, and the packaging is made of recycled soil maps. So she's clearly, carefully curated this packaging and it's memorable. So maybe you don't sell a product that you ship or package for customers in a store. The example on the left is for Flowering Journey Wellness, which is a local sound healer and yoga teacher. After her services, she sends her clients with one of her handmade lotion bars. It's an unexpected treat that leaves the customer remembering their time with her and her services. So packaging is a great way to go the extra mile in giving your customers an experience. There's endless research available on color choices, textures, and more, which you're more than welcome to explore as your heart desires. But for now, I'll say what's most important is consistency. How can you extend your brand values, and the experience you're offering your clientele through your packaging? Ideally, we want your packaging, your posters, your website, and your Facebook ads to all look like they came from the same place. 13, we're almost there, I promise. Contests are a great way to get people actively participating in your business and maybe even spreading the word about you because they had so much fun. Here's an example of an Easter egg hunt at Big Hollow, a local food co-op. It gets folks into the store and hopefully they have a little fun and remember it for the next year. Other examples include photo contests, which we see a lot around times like Halloween for costumes, but you could create one at any time. Perhaps you ask your customers to share photos of them engaging with your product for a chance to win a free item or a discount. Or maybe you do guessing games, a word jumble of a local landmark, or post a picture for people to guess where it was taken. Guess how many almonds or candies are in the cup. Ask a weekly question and then randomly choose a fan to reward with a prize. Maybe that's one of those freebies or a discount to what you sell. Number 14, this one's simple and something I trust that you could execute within 20 minutes of hopping off this webinar with me this afternoon. Use that space on your business's counter to capture information the old-fashioned pen and paper way. Maybe you're looking to grow your email list. Make a quick template to keep at your counter and ask your customers if they're interested in joining. Don't have a storefront? Maybe you bring it to those events that you're attending or those events that you're hosting, anywhere that you have a table or are representing your business. Maybe you have a quick survey you're looking to distribute to gain information for your next product or service launch. Include a stack of paper surveys on your counter and ask your customers if they have time to briefly fill one out. Maybe you're launching a text message campaign and looking to gather customers' personal phone numbers. Use the space to collect this information in person. And remember, when it comes to whatever you're hoping to gain from this countertop clipboard, the personal ask is really important. Rarely do we jot down our information unprompted. However, when we're asked, we're much more likely to pick up that pen. And if you're struggling to get participation, maybe consider a giveaway or a modest discount for those who opt in. And last but not least, number 15, a top-notch shopping experience. This is probably one of the most effective marketing strategies you can ever use, offline and online. You cultivate brand loyalty. The likelihood of these customers spreading a positive word about you improves. And you're giving shoppers a reason to shop local versus shopping those online mega stores, which are tough to beat when it comes to convenience. What works in your favor is those big mega stores. They won't ever have a meaningful conversation with the shoppers in their store. They won't listen to customer feedback and implement changes to support them. They won't host an evening to celebrate your brand loyalty or send you a handwritten note to say that your support during COVID helped them stay afloat. So how can you give a top-notch shopping experience? According to a Forbes article by Rhett Power, a major way you can improve your shopping experience is to make it easy for your customer. Maybe you expand pickup options, curbside delivery, or at-home delivery. Make sure you're accepting multiple kinds of payment and you have an easy way to work with returns. You're doing your best to make sure nobody's jumping through hoops. You're easy to communicate with, both online and in person. You answer questions and hold space for feedback. The options are truly endless. The way you can up your shopping or client experience is unique to each of you in this digital room with me this afternoon. So take some time to explore this and reach out to your close network to help you brainstorm. So with that, here you can see all 15 of the ideas we've covered. Feel free to snap a screenshot here to keep for your notes so you can remember any ideas you may have had as we chatted this afternoon. And it looks like we're going to go just a few minutes over, so if you have to pop out, no hard feelings, but we are going to get to questions here in just a couple minutes. So go ahead and use that Q&A panel to start typing your questions, and while you do that, I'm going to go over a little bit of information. The WWBC is made possible through several partnership agencies, and our primary funding comes from the U.S. Small Business Administration and the Wyoming Business Council. We're incredibly thankful for the support and the guidance of our partners and look forward to the work ahead. I also want to remind you that the WWBC is a standalone 501c3 nonprofit, and every donation made to our organization is tax deductible and goes directly to our mission of empowering Wyoming's entrepreneurs, especially women, through our counseling, training, and microfinance programs. So if you feel this webinar was valuable to you, I encourage you to go to our website and consider a micro gift. Lastly, before we hop into those questions, if you've enjoyed today's training, you can find more of our upcoming always free webinars at wyomingwomen.org. Click the training tab to see what's ahead and to register. And remember, if you can't make a live event, no stress. All registrants will receive a link to the recording in their inbox to watch as their schedules allow. We have a full month of really great content on financials, business planning, marketing, and more, and an ever-expanding business education program unfolding in this new year, featuring content from our whole team here at the WWBC. I'm very excited about it, and I encourage you to keep an eye on what's ahead. All right, I'm gonna check and see if we have any questions. Looks like we don't. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and close things up. Like I said, a survey is going to pop up on your screen. It's just a quick 6-question survey, and I do ask that you stay online and complete it for me if you can. We read each of these, and it's really helpful for us to plan our upcoming calendar and improve our offerings for you. Thank you again for attending today's webinar. I look forward to seeing you again soon.